Sal returned to his study and sat in front of his computer. He had no desire to be in the presence of the detectives who now crowded his living room. The Ayakamiki fan forum for people 40 and over was still open on his monitor. He reloaded the page and saw that his earlier thread had gotten a reply. It was from Pretty Honey, a regular contributor to Osawa's threads. He was named someone who posts regularly on the Ayakamiki fan forums and used to know a lot about agriculture and the police, as evidenced by statements such as, if the world were a farm with 100 people, as well as an agency to post to another site called the 87th Precinct to the community. Incidentally, Shinya Kano's girlfriend Rumi also posts to the 87th Precinct to the community from time to time. She has had several massive arguments with Pretty Honey there, with the latter criticizing the police for not doing their job, while Rumi insists that police work is very difficult and deserves more credit. I'm opposed to the idea of Ayakamiki expanding into America. She should be able to enjoy the success she's earned in Japan without having to struggle overseas. Aya has done so much for us, allow for her to keep supporting Japan forever. The message was festooned with the sort of emoticons that a young girl might use. Pretty Honey claimed to be a 19-year-old female college student. Although the community was meant for Ayakamiki fans 40 and over, the settings allowed anyone to post there. The only young woman among the members, however, was Pretty Honey. The thread continued. By the way, have you tried the Aya fortune teller yet? There's a link below. Fortune telling? Huh. Practice determining a person's future luck or life events using cards, horoscopes, and or other methods of divination. Most people believe such prognostication when it foretells something good, and don't believe it when the outlook is bad. That's about as much faith in fortune telling as anyone should have. Very unlucky. Osawa stared. Should he ask it whether Maria was safe? If he gave him a good answer, he'd believe it. If it were a bad answer, he wouldn't. It might be worth a shot just for the peace of mind it'd bring. He clicked the link and the Aya fortune teller page came up. It asked you to enter your birth date and sex, and then Aya Kamiki would offer her advice. Osawa followed the instructions, entering his date of birth, selecting male, and then clicking next. A few seconds later, his fortune was displayed. You're a very work-minded person. You don't force some insight on Maria, but instead it was just a write-up about his personality. You'll never be able to get by without the devoted support of those around you, but you probably don't realize that, do you? It's a big mistake to think you can get through all of life's challenges on your own. There's nothing cool about being ignorant. You don't get over your indifference to the world might start to harbor quite a grudge. Find a way to connect more deeply with the people around you and start living a better life before it's too late. Just do that and you're sure to have a wonderful future ahead. Famous people who get your result. Shinosuke Arai, playwright. The head of the Wandering Angels Theater Troupe. He has an interview appointment with Minoru Kawa at 2:30 this afternoon. Sal couldn't help but feel that the advice was painfully appropriate. He went back to the forum and replied to Pretty Honey. Nice to hear from you again, Pretty Honey. I definitely know how you feel about Aya Kamiki being ours. Still, I'm confident she's got what it takes to persevere and succeed in America. If she does fail, well, all of us in Japan will be here to welcome her back all the same. Guess his voyage to America of Kanakata just has me a little worked up. Sawa clicked the post and leaned back in his chair. Mr. Sawa? Mr. Sawa? It was Kajiwara shouting from outside the door. First the toilet, then lunch. What is it now? There's been a development in the case. Please join us in the living room. We have important matters to discuss. Kajiwara had his detective face on. I really don't like her. When Osawa entered the living room, I was already there, looking stern and solemn. Now that you're both here, Kajiwara said, allow me to share what we know. We identified a location that appears to be the syndicate's hideout. You have? What about Maria? Is she there? Osawa exclaimed. Still haven't been able to ascertain whether your daughter is safe. Well, then what were these important matters you need to discuss? Osawa felt a wave of anxiety rush through him. The hideout in question is the condominium in Hiru, and it's owned by... By whom? Mr. Osawa, please calm down. Tell me! Go on, out with it! Kajiro took a deep breath. The residence is owned by Mamoru Tanaka. Asao was speechless. He couldn't process what he was hearing in Tanaka. Lies, I shrieked. Just what are you implying? That Mr. Tanaka is the kidnapper? Where's your proof? With all due respect, ma'am, weren't you suspecting Mr. Tanaka yourself? I suppose, but did go so far as to stick a listening device on him. Flustered, I withdrew into a vacant silence. The sudden ringing of the phone startled everyone in the room. Was that Tanaka? No, it couldn't be. There was no way. The phone was wiretapped. The detective wearing the headset nodded to Kajiwara. When Turn motioned over Asawa to pick up. Hello? He said cautiously. Hello. Is this the home of Maria Osawa? The voice was not Tanaka's. Osawa then recognized it, but the veil of despair that hung over before him thinned slightly. Is this the home of Hitomi Osawa? This time? The man on the phone uses Hitomi's name instead. Yes, that's right. The caller immediately hung up. I thought you asked some questions. As Osawa stood there dumbstruck, Kajiwara gently took the receiver and hung up the phone. The detectives addressed Kajiwara. We've traced the source of the call to his cell phone. Also, we've informed the base station used, informed Director Kuze, so we can prepare a team just in case, Osawa asked. What do you mean by that? Kajiwara frowned slightly. Just because this is a kidnapping case doesn't mean that every phone call comes from the kidnapper. We'll look into it, of course, but I see. Besides, right now, confirming Mr. Tanaka's whereabouts takes priority. Don't you agree? Osawa nodded. Someone should call him, the detective added. I'll do it. I got out her cell phone and dialed up Tanaka. Where's Mr. Tanaka headed? Kajiwara asked. He eyed Osawa keenly. To work, I sent him to pick up some documents. I don't remember. I don't remember. I mean, to me, this one seems the most right. To work, I sent him to pick up some documents. Necessary lie. Tanaka was behind the kidnapping. Osawa knew he ought to tell the police about the blue minivan and the emails from Hitomi. Still, he just couldn't believe that his assistant really was the culprit. We have investigators en route to Tanaka's condominium, Kajiwara said. Let's wait for them to report in. On the far side of the room, I was squawking in frustration. Despite several attempts, she hadn't been able to get through to Tanaka. Kajiwara's phone rang and he pulled it from his pocket. Kano? What's going on? He headed into one corner as he spoke into the receiver. Suppose that'd be alright. What for, though? With a few more quiet words, Kajiwara held his phone out to Osawa. One of the investigators on the scene would like to speak with you. Frowning in confusion, Osawa took hold of the phone. Osawa speaking. Can I help you? This is Detective Kano from Shibuya's precinct. Time is critical, so I need to just cut to the chase here. There was a pause as the speaker took a deep breath before continuing. Did you give the antiviral drug to your daughter, Hitomi? What? Osawa was so startled his voice got in his throat. What are you talking about? Antiviral research was top secret, so how did some detective from the Shibuya precinct know about it? Did you give the antiviral drug to your daughter, Hitomi? Osawa let out a gasp. What? What are you talking about? I'm the one asking the questions here, Mr. Osawa. Did you give the antiviral drug to your daughter, Hitomi? I'm not sure I understand the question. Osawa's voice trembled as he spoke. Kano was sure he'd hit the nail right on the head. I know what this syndicate is really after, Mr. Osawa. It's the virus. It's either... I think the virus would make more sense. It's the virus. Sorry, I remained silent. Just go back. No, I'll go back when I need to. And I think I should be good for now. Mr. Osawa, is everything alright? Then I went dead. Technically, that's incorrect, Stanley muttered. It's not the virus they're after, it's his daughter Hitomi who's carrying the antiviral. And it was clear why the criminals were after Hitomi. He saw an uneasy look on Stanley's face. Something on your mind? Kano asked. Stanley responded with a question of his own. If Hitomi was carrying that to Viral, how were the criminals planning on getting it from her? Kano thought for a moment. Not taking her by force at the scramble posed too high a risk, he said. There was nearly 100 detectives there, and they must have guessed there would be. That's why they devised the attache case relay. They wanted to abduct Hitomi somewhere away from the Dragonet's notice. This is the plan that all the signs seem to suggest. But still, he added, I wonder how they managed to lead her away from police protection. A look of revelation crossed Stanley's face. All they need to do was convince her to go of her own accord. But how? Kano asked, and then it came to him. He thought back to Hitomi's initial contact with Tarek Al-Karawan. Just before he'd taken the attache case from her, the two had a brief conversation. It was possible Al-Karawan had given Hitomi some form of instructions then. Guess we're back to tracking down Al-Karawan again, huh? Kano could tell from the look of Stanley's eyes that he was on the verge of saying something. Probably some remark about how Teteno had allowed Al-Karawan to run free. Right now, Kano wasn't going to argue with the point. After this case was resolved, he'd discover what Teteno's real motives were. And once he did, Stanley would eat his words in the meantime. We can't just wander around looking without any leads, he said. Until we get more intel, let's see what we can do with the security cameras back at the precinct. Numerous monitors shone down on the pair as they entered the Shibuya precinct surveillance room. Each showed an array of faces of individuals somewhere in Shibuya. Kano asked one of the operators to pull up Al-Karawan's data on screen. By selecting each of the faces on the monitors in turn, they could run comparisons to determine if anyone among them was Al-Karawan. One by one, the operator made his way through the faces. Assuming their target was still in Shibuya, there was a high likelihood they'd find him. The minutes ticked past, and there was still no sign of him. Kano's tone grew more and more impatient as he directed the operator's search. Just calm down, Stanley said. He set a hand on Kano's shoulder. Keep wasting your energy when you don't need to. That's just how I do things, Kano replied. I'm energetic because I care. He pointed out another face of the operator. Well, you're setting yourself up for a short life. With a sigh, Stanley sank into a nearby chair. My brother was like you. The American spoke so quietly that his words were barely audible. 10 minutes later, a man clad in black appeared on one of the monitors. The operator lined up his cursor. The comparison check confirmed that it was Al-Karawan. Yes, Kano hissed, pumping his fist. It appeared that their quarry was simply walking around town, calm and composed. Kano radioed in Al-Karawan's location to Kuze. All units intercept the suspect on a double, Kuze ordered. Kano will provide guidance using the surveillance monitors. They say Al-Karawan stopped in front of a cigarette vending machine. Was he waiting for someone? Sasayama reporting, I've got eyes on the mutt. Perpetrator, hook to put someone in cuffs, dipper, pickpocket, wants, outstanding warrants, hang paper to write multiple citations, other such traditional police jargon. Kano's partner had evidently been nearby. Making the rest, he said. There was a note of courage in Sasayama's voice. He came into view on the monitor, walking casually. At some point, he ditched his anime nerd costume for a cat mascot suit. Oh no, Kano muttered. That getup's going to make Sasayama stand out like a sore thumb. Shoot, they might have spotted me. I'm going in pursuit. Sasayama slipped out of the camera's view. Whoa, what gives? Let go of me. You're Mr. Yanagashita, right? Look, I'm sorry, but I really do need you to return that costume. The voices came in over the wireless. It sounded like Sasayama was caught up in an argument with someone. Sasayama, Kano shouted as he had the monitor. Kano, I need some help here. Requesting emergency backup. The line went dead before Sasayama could finish. Kano didn't have the faintest idea what was going on, but obviously his partner needed him. He rushed out of the precinct. When he arrived on the scene, he saw Sasayama still in the catsuit, caught up in a scuffle with a man he'd never seen before. There was no sign of Al-Karawan. Sasayama, what's going on? That's not a question, Sasayama replied. This guy just came at me out of nowhere. He sounded pretty riled up. Sir, I need you to return this costume. My boss was very insistent on that point. The man was panting with exertion, shouting in Sasayama's face. Was he the owner of the suit? What's the deal with that thing, Sasayama? Kano asked. I bought it at a variety store on Center Guy. Figured it'd be a perfect disguise. Oh my gosh. I didn't steal anything. Sir, I'm telling you, you need to get that back. And I'm telling you, I've got no idea what you're on about. Sasayama stamped his foot. You realize that you're not Mr. Yagashita. That isn't the issue. I just need you to return that costume, alright? Sure, I'll give it to you. I just need a little longer, so let go of me. And I can't do that, sir. I need you to get out of that suit right now. Yeah, I get that, buddy, but no can do. It's like I told you before. The zipper on this thing's snagged. Kano watched as the argument descended further and further into absurdity. Meanwhile, Al-Karawan was getting away. This was ridiculous. He turned to go in pursuit of the suspect. Kano, wait, Sasayama called out. Come on, help me out, man. Huh? Help me get this thing off. No, really isn't the time for this, Kano replied. I'm going after the suspect. Oh, I get it. You're gonna dish me here so you can take all the credit for yourself? Whoa, what? I was this close to nabbing the guy. That arrest is mine to make, and you know it. It wasn't as though Kano couldn't empathize. If Susayama hadn't been blindsided by this random stranger, he probably would have caught Akaraon just fine. Alright then, Kano said. He reached for the zipper at the back of that cat's suit. But as Susayama had said, the metal fittings were snagged and refused to budge. Hurry up! I'm trying! There wasn't time to do this slowly and carefully. Kano yanked down the zipper hard. Stop! The stranger shrieked in alarm. Don't be so off like that. But if I don't, I'll never... You mustn't! If you aren't careful, you'll cause a malfunction. Malfunction? What the hell was this guy talking about? Kano got an ever firmer grip on the zipper and pulled again. Paused in surprise as Susayama meowed. Again, Susayama let out a little cry, except it didn't sound like Susayama's voice at all. Guys, Susayama said, there's something making a rumbling noise inside this thing. He sounded pretty alarmed. Uh-oh, said the other man. It has started. His face went pale. What are you talking about? Susayama demanded. What started? The man hesitated and seemed to come to a decision. Well, you see, this is no ordinary cat costume. Meaning what exactly? Our sharp rented this unit out of by mistake. Oh, I had no idea it was anything so horrifying, not until the boss filled me in a little while ago. What's horrifying? You're not answering the question. The man's gaze grew hollow and distant. Cats, he said. For a moment there was only silence. Then Susayama spoke up nervously. Well, yeah, it's a cat. I know that already. No, you're not listening. This is a cat. Like I said, I already know it's a cat. Anyone can see that just from looking at it. No, not a cat. Cats. Costume as transmission system developed by Far East Costume Rental's high-tech department. There was an official corporate notice stating this is just a prototype and potentially dangerous. So do not lend it out under any circumstances, but it was accidentally rented by mistake. Okay. Started back up again. With each new mule, the sound got faster. Soon it sounded less like a cat, more like some mechanism that was roaring about. There was a sudden, fierce, blinding flash. Space itself began to warp in a roughly 3-meter radius around Susayama and his costume. A moment later, Kano and the others had vanished. Bad end. Number 35. Cats. Kano, Susayama, and the rental guy were sent into another dimension due to a malfunction in the cats. Detective Susayama should probably never have put that cat suit on. He mentioned buying it at a variety shop on Sons of Guy. That's what they do.